There are three main reasons why the American dollar is in trouble. In today's video, we're going to break down the three main reasons why the American dollar is in trouble and what you, as an American, can do about it. I've been researching this for the last 7 years since I left the banking system to understand how money moves through the system and when these waves of energy come, how wealth is built. The truth is, the middle class is getting wiped out, leveraged towards technology, moving down to the working poor, and there'll be a new 1%. It's the biggest transformation in wealth in our living history. My name is Coach JB. What I work to do is make very complex and complex macro and microeconomic strategies very simple so the normal everyday person can implement them. We've helped hundreds of people over the last year understand how I pull from high risk, high return cryptocurrency profits, and I pull it down. I ensure my family and my wealth. Down below, you can set up a needs assessment with my team in the description of the video or in my social media platform. Click the link to set up a needs assessment. The right team member will reach out to you. All right, so let's dive right into this. So the first thing that we need to look at is understanding financial literacy. In our schooling system, we're not taught economics, true economics. Okay. We're taught to go to school, get a job, get a 401k, and a vertical strategy. We're taught to trade time for money. That's an enslavement trap in the American monetary system. In 1971, they detached us from the gold standard. That was a pivotal moment in America. And now you and I are paying the price for that. You and I are paying the price for a detachment from the gold standard, making our money what's called fiat, which is fake money. So since 1971, there's been ups, there's been downs. I'm going to show you the waves of inflation, and I'm going to share with you what I think is about to happen. And it's a very different timeline right now because we have a brand new wave of monetary system coming in. Blockchain technology, DLT, AI. AI cannot operate without blockchain technology. Think about that. AI trading bots can't go open a bank account for you. Think about that for just a moment. AI, the advent of AI, needs blockchain. It needs on-demand liquidity. It needs money to move at the speed of light, so does supply chain. So the first thing that we're going to look at here is the impact of the national debt on your investments, okay? Today, higher interest rate environment has magnified the issue related to growing U.S. federal government debt. While expanding the debt has long been a concern, it tends to gain more attention during the election years, and also at times when the government interest costs become more significant. Debt has risen steadily in the recent years, and as of mid-May 2024, the national debt stands at $34 trillion. The national debt has essentially doubled in just 15 years and represents the impact accumulation of deficit spending. So government debt is financed through issuing U.S. Treasury bills, notes, and bonds. Well, how do they do that? They print more money. They print more money, they issue more Treasury bonds, and they monetize debt. This is the first thing you need to write down. Every single dollar in the system is someone else's debt. Okay. So now we're in a deflationary currency that more has been printed in the last 15 years than in history, and specifically in the last 24 months. The last 24 months from 2020 to 2022, more money was printed than in all of the war of World War II, and more money was spent than was spent in World War II. So number one, financial literacy. You need to understand why the American dollar is in trouble is because of our debt, okay? The only way they can keep this going is to monetize more debt. So now we're in a high interest rate environment right now. They said they were going to lower interest rates 3 times this year. They haven't even lowered it once, and we're in sticky inflation. So that's number one. Number one is high debt. Number two is inflation. Okay. Inflation is rocking the middle class right now. We went from money being completely free, pretty much low interest rates, to printing of money, stimulus checks, to completely cutting off the money supply and raising interest rates, trying to cool inflation. So now you have lack ability to borrow as a consumer, and every single dollar in the system is someone else's debt. Okay. The banks monetize debt, the government monetizes debt. And so if you can't get debt to keep your thing going or you keep your family going, guess who lose money? The banks. They make money in interest income, fee income, and capital markets income. Well, the regional banks are in big trouble right now. The bond yield inverted last year, okay, which sucked the liquidity out of the banks. And if you can't service your debt, and that's where we're heading into where America's at right now, Americans cannot service their debt anymore. Their bank accounts are empty. There's been a cumulative inflation of 19% since Biden took office. since 2020 to 2024, there's been a 19% cumulative inflation. So number one, you need to understand how the government monetizes debt and where we're at right now, 34 trillion. Number two is inflation is destroying. It's illegal taxation. It's literally taking away your buying power. So if you made $100,000 in 2020, you now make $91,000. The average American needs about $1,000 more just to survive. Okay, so let's look at the trends in inflation here. Okay, so this is 1914, so 17%. This is what could happen in America. This is what could happen in America. Look at this. 17. So right now, comment down below, pause this video. Where do you think we're at inflation wise? You need to understand what inflation is. When Biden took office, I think we're at 1.9. Now we're sitting about 8 to 9% inflation. That's a huge increase, a cumulative inflation of 19%. But this is what could happen, guys. Look at this. In the 1920s, it went negative. Okay. It shot up. What was it? 1929 was the Great Depression, right? It shot up. And then we went to the 1942. This is World War II. Now we're heading into World War III. Look at what happened around World War II. It went from 0.72. There was large debts, unemployment, same setup. 5.2 to 10.92. And then it started to come down and then boom, it shot back up. When did the war end? Was it 8 to 10 years? Then we went up to 14.39. This is what could come, guys. You need to get prepared for that. And I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm doing on the back end of this video. That's why, hint, why BlackRock now said Bitcoin's a flight to quality. That's why Kathy Woods, ARK Investment, says it's a flight to safety. Okay, this is what could happen. 14% inflation. Do you realize what that would do to your buying power? Do you realize what that would do to your family to survive? Okay, then we went into the 1950s. It shot up to 7.86 around 1951. Then we had a period of very low inflation, nice monetary, and then they attached from the gold standard in 1971. And then around 1973, it shot to 11%, 9.4%. We went into the petrodollar, and that's where all oil was traded in US dollars. Then we went into the 1980s where inflation went up to 13.55. Okay. And then we've been in a pretty low interest rate and inflationary environment. Look at that. And now, boom, we're heading into the same pattern here. 2022, it shot up to 8%. 2023 at 3.7. Is that right? No, I don't think it's at 3.7. I mean, we're still super high right now, guys. And now they're trying to get it down to 2%. To get it down to 2%, though, what do they have to do? Raise interest rates. When they raise interest rates, okay, it makes money. My parents bought their home in 1973. I think it was close to a 17% interest rate for $25,000. Their home is now worth $400,000. And at that time, 2-3 years ago, you can get a rate for 2%. Has your income gone up that much? No, that's the erosion of your buying power. So take out the whole adage of cryptocurrencies, a fraud, it's not going to be here. They're running to cryptocurrency because it's a flight to safety, and I'll explain why. Okay. Now, this is the last thing. So we have first is your national debt. We have inflation that's out of control. Now we have unstable monetary supply or monetary policies. Okay. So let's listen to Jerome Powell 3 weeks ago explaining to you how certain he is.
My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. The economy has made considerable progress toward our dual mandate objectives. Inflation has eased substantially over the past year, while the labor market has remained strong. And that's very good news. But inflation is still too high. Further progress in bringing it down is not assured, and the path forward is uncertain. We are fully committed to returning inflation to our 2% goal. Restoring price stability is essential to achieve a sustainably strong labor market that benefits all.
Okay, so I'll leave. The path is uncertain. And he said, we're bringing it down to 2%. How did they bring it down to 2%? This is our next thing around education, is interest rates. That's how the Federal Reserve created in 1913, and the dollar's collapsed 99% since the Federal Reserve was created. The dollar has collapsed 99% in buying power since the Federal Reserve was created. So their job is to control money supply and job markets. Okay. So he said, we're going to bring it down to 2%. So what does that mean? That they're going to have to raise interest rates. Now, I'm hoping that they lower them in September before the presidential election. So we have multiple factors happening. We have a 4-year crypto cycle, which organically, automatically, cyclically Cryptocurrency is going to go up around September, October. Then we have a presidential election. Ideally, during a presidential election, they lower interest rates to kind of try to get reelected, and they make the markets look good before the presidential election. So that would benefit us as investors. This does not benefit the middle class. It does not help your buying power. So if you're waiting to buy a house and interest rates drop 1%, a $600,000 house, I don't know the exact math, is going to skyrocket. It's going to become unaffordable. The future of homeownership is for the rich men and women of this world. The future of homeownership, guys, is for rich men and women of this world. Money is going to move at the speed of light. The new wealthy 1% are the people who are investing in blockchain technology who are going to catch the big three. Remember, we had the auto boom, we had the dot-com boom, and it always ends up with the top three. Google, Amazon, and maybe Microsoft would be one. You had Ford, Chrysler, and what was the other one? You guys can comment down below. And I believe we're going to have Bitcoin. I'm not saying this is just what I believe is going to happen. This is not tribalism or anything. Ethereum and XRP. Ripple is going to be the top three companies, and all the rest are going to be surviving regulation. You have Solana in there. You're going to have XLM. You're going to have all these ones, and thousands of cryptocurrencies are going to get smashed in regulation. Thousands of them. So I got out of a vertical strategy. What I started to do from 2020 to 2022, because of my years of research, I understood that everything's a wave of energy. There's nothing in this universe that's in a straight line. Everything goes up, everything goes down. Your emotions go up, your emotions go down. Your channel goes up, your channel goes down. Your views go well, and then they don't go well. Your relationship goes well. There's nothing that goes in a straight line. Nothing. So what goes up must come down. So what I do is when the wave of energy goes up dramatically and everybody starts to finally believe, I'm already exiting on the way up. I use Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. I'm the co-founder and creator of Merlin, okay? It's an exit strategy app. Helps you exit the markets. So when I pull from the top of the risk pyramid. I pull my profits down. Number one, I insure my family. Number two, I insure my principal. I'm also diversified in business, silver. I use Bitcoin as my gold. In 2024 to 2025, we're heading into real estate and multifamily. Okay. Very important. I feel the real estate landscape is going to change because people are not going to be able to afford a home. People are going to be condensing into smaller houses. They're going to be moving into apartments, multifamily. That is the future of our monetary system. That's the future and what they've created for us, guys. So there's the whole thing of I'm proud to be an American, guys, but we have to look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. 34 trillion in debt. Okay. Our inflation shot through the roof. The bond yields inverted. Regional banks are in trouble. The bank bailing committee was created in 2012 preparing for this moment. There's going to be a monopolization of the larger banks monopolizing these. They got their Bitcoin ETF rocking. They got the Ethereum ETF rocking. They're all trying to get exposure. That's why these large asset managers are flooding into cryptocurrency now. The very thing they told you was a fraud. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing with you where the waves of energy go. There's going to be World War III. And after World War III, there's going to be innovation, technology, a new superpower, and a new monetary system. You can predict the future by studying the past. Study Ray Dalio's Changing World Order, guys. It's very easy to see. Get non-emotional about this. Pull yourself to a 30,000-foot overview and look down at the landscape and say, this has happened over and over again in humanity. This is the greatest time in human history to get your shit together. It truly is. Get focused. Get focused. Don't go left. Don't go right. Take the middle ground, as Jesus said. Get focused on your family, faith, your budget, and understand these marks. Study this stuff. If you study 20 minutes a day, you become in the top 5% of expertise. So if you watch this video right now, you're 13 minutes in. You're already expanding your consciousness. Good job. So I appreciate you guys. I love you. Everything in the description of this video or my social media platform to set up a needs assessment. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the inside. Warriors, get your shit together. Love you guys.